Hey guys, it's Tarkin coming at you again with another game of Minecraft and doing exactly what we've been doing. Hanging out and waiting for lightning to strike. And I heard thunder. I was AFKing inside of my spawn base waiting for some cows to grow up. And I heard a thunderclap, and that means that it's time for me to book it over to the mountaintop. You know, there's probably other things that I need to do, like deal with this problem. There we go. But I could build one over here. I'm not confident in the lightning rod's ability to do anything. And the reason I think that is because I saw the lightning rod get struck. I mean, it attracted the lightning, but nothing happened to the horse. And that is, of course, a terrible failure. Of course, I'm not certain that the horse is going to multiply when struck by lightning. Maybe it only happens one time to a skeleton horse. But it definitely happened. I saw it happen right in front of me. I just can't prove it. I can prove that that creeper is making me mad in my wheat field. I hate when there's creepers in my wheat field and then I have to rebuild the straight lines. I'm not afraid of them on normal, but I am annoyed by them. And this isn't normal, actually. I'm playing on hard now. But it feels normal to me. When you have good enough armor, it's all pretty normal. It's funny to me that it was just like pretty recently that I even turned monsters on at all, and then after a fairly brief period of time of playing on easy, I decided I'll play hardcore. And I'll just turn my easy world up to hard also. But I haven't died since I put it on hard. I've gotten a little sketchy whenever I picked a fight with like 2 or 3 Endermen at the same time and didn't have a shield on me. But in general, I understand a lot more about movement and the swing of the sword, how it's going to interact with mob pathings, how to avoid being physically struck by zombies, stuff like that. You know, the sort of stuff that you can only get with a lot of practice. But speaking of practice, I don't think I have enough wood to make a shield. That's okay. Not true. I do have enough wood to make a shield, which I'm going to need to do like right now because, well, they are shooting at me. Just need to get the food all the way up. Oh no, I left the door to my house open. Are my cats okay? Okay, my cats are fine. They're just looking out of the window. When you have diamond armor and protection and projectile projection and such as I do, actually I don't know if I have projectile projection on any of this stuff. I did get, yeah. No, this is just all normal protection. I think there's another enchantment that does something specific for projectiles. Don't you dare mess with my house. Anyway, that creeper's distracted me from what I'm supposed to be doing, which is getting up to the top of the mountain. It's been a couple of minutes now, and, well, if lightning struck and I wasn't around, I won't be able to have witnessed it. But that's sort of the problem in my approach to this test, which is that if you're in one area, you're not going to be able to check the other one, because this thunderstorm biome is very, very large. It extends from the spawn, or at least it was thunderstorming earlier. If it was just one thunderclap and then nothing, that'll be pretty annoying, very disappointing. But yeah, of course I haven't planted much since the last video. We see down there the golem defending the village valiantly. I guess that's why they exist, right? People were telling me that you can make a psychological trauma farm, which totally sounds like what I'll do eventually, but I don't want to be that person yet. So sometimes enemy mobs will kill passive ones, but it appears that the zombie is absolutely uninterested in the horse. And I accidentally hit the horse, but it'll be okay. I just won't hit him again. Sorry, buddy. You forgive me? Oh yeah, you're only bones. But Alright, some Endermen. Good. I will show my new talents. You stare right at them. The air gets a little weird. That crispy sound is them, like, trying to teleport around you. But if you just keep your shield up... That's really weird. Normally, they pop right up on you. There's a little particle effect. It's very reminiscent of the cherry blossom particles, only it's purplier rather than pinker. These are technical color theory terms. Don't come at me. And they fight, but I guess he was put off by the dedicated splendor of my shield and decided that it wasn't worth it. But here in the savannah, of course, there is no rain, but there is an Enderman. A thing about Endermen that I have noticed that's pretty interesting is they're super weird. Okay, what on earth? Okay. Weird. So weird. What's going on with him? He looks like he's flying around and trying to touch down, but can't. And then he teleported out. Oh, okay. He's still here, but can't get me. Very interesting. Very weird. He was definitely on me, but he did not... Perhaps it's the rain. Are they like the aliens in Signs? Oh my god, they really might be, huh? That would actually make a lot of sense. If they took damage from that, then they would, that would make sense. Well, I'll have to test that theory out. Perhaps Endermen don't attack when it rains. When I'm thinking about it, you know, it doesn't rain all the time, so I'm not sure, but I don't remember ever fighting them in the rain or in a thunderstorm. And certainly those two Endermen had dramatically different behavior than I've come to expect from them, but oh well. No thunder. Well, in lieu of thunder, we'll just go exploring a little bit. We'll chalk that one up to learning about how Enderman mechanics work, and that'll be the learning that we do here, and then we'll just sort of delicately run down the side of this mountain. We've got a regular horse here. If we could get this horse struck by lightning, what a monstrous beginning to a sentence, but if we could get this horse struck by lightning, we'd at least demonstrate one part of the theory, which is that it was a regular horse struck by lightning in the first place, but it looked sort of like a skeleton horse, not a white horse. But I might just get a horse and bring it over to my spawn base as well and see if we can do a lightning experiment there, since the biome stretches pretty far. And speaking of the stretch of the biome, here we're going to, rather than what we would do on hardcore, being careful, we're just going to go right down, because we know that the water will protect us from fall damage, and I just want to see what's going on in here. What's going on in here is creepers and an underwater sea. Pretty normal stuff all around. Okay, so I'm used to them making huge explosions. Here, he actually, they only cracked open a couple of blocks with their explosions, so that makes sense. Like stuff like dirt and sand, which is usually what I tend to be fighting them around, gets more problems. Oh, this is interesting. So look here, they're all spawning here in the dark, and then the water flow is too much for them to get out of. Of course, they will brawl with each other, which makes it not a perfect farm, but if you could somehow somehow control which monsters spawned there, that could be a fun way to keep them all in one spot or whatnot. But, you know, yeah, it's exactly what you get. All right, so they just drop down here, and they can't really effectively deal with you, but yeah, so here's another one. So basically what you'd be getting is they might even be falling down from up top, but you just have a little zombie farm here. Even with very careless timing, because their movement is so severely inhibited by the water, they basically can't get at you. So that's pretty nice. You got bats, you know, bats are friends, not foes. I'm not going to hit a bat just because they're there. I don't even know if they drop anything, but maybe I wouldn't hit them anyway. Not everywhere in the world has vast caves that you can just go to. Obviously, they're not as easily accessible as this basically anywhere, but I imagine in some places they might be. But there's a park in Arkansas where I am from called the Blanchard Springs Caverns, and I don't know how big it is compared to every cavern in the world. I haven't been in many years. It's the sort of thing that schoolchildren go to on trips and marvel at, or think is very boring if they're not cool kids like me. But I really liked the field trip. I am not afraid of caves particularly, although I wouldn't like to be cramped in one. This one was just immense. It had all of the open space that you could ever want. There were bats that lived inside. There were not skeletons, but it was a really interesting experience. And just when I say like a cavern, I don't want to quote the size of it because I don't want to lie to you, but this is not like oh, you walked in and it was kind of big and then you walked out. I'm like, you could fit like 1,000 people in it, like maybe more than, like, it's just an absolutely immense space underground. And if I was a better person, I would have looked it up, but I didn't know I was going to go into the cavern or talk about Blanchard Springs Caverns today, so I did not do my homework. But if you live in or around Arkansas, then you probably know me personally. But you also have probably been there already. But I don't presume to say what people would do on their vacations, but a very moving experience. One I'll certainly remember forever. It was just really an amazing thing. The natural world, so much of it is lost or difficult to access, but every now and then you'll be living in an area and they'll have just the most amazing thing, and some people that aren't from there wouldn't know about it. So that's why today I'm talking about a park in Arkansas, but I recommend it. It's a way cooler than that cavern is, in spite of the lack of magma. First of all, it's real, and reality has a beauty all of its own. So just as unreality has a beauty of its own, like the tangibility of the world makes it superior in some ways to video games, but also, of course, uh, much worse in others. For example, if you prick a video game, does it not bleed? Anyway, I'm not going to do the whole Shakespeare thing right now, but if you hang out with me long enough, you might suffer through it. I like that speech rather a lot. They do it in Star Trek. I digress. But that's going to do it for this video. It started with the belief that there were thunderstorms. Maybe there was just thunder over by my spawn, and over here there was not. But like I said, I am going to build another pen for the horses, and I think I'm going to go ahead and grab one now and do it, because I've got one in that pen up there, and then there's one skelly horse that we've got in the basement of the farmhouse. I was just trampling through the grain, man. A real pearls before swine moment there. But This is not going to turn again and rend me, because I am not just the destroyer of the garden, I am the gardener. And in due course, it'll all be coming together again. Did I put the leads here? Yes. One thing I pride myself on is the ability to quickly visually scan information, so it's always nice when you can pick out the one shiny picture in the sea of shiny pictures. Really, it's words that I'm good at. I find symbolic interaction frustrating when it's not alphabet-based. But as I've related before, I don't really use a smartphone. Sometimes in Discord, when people put emojis in chats, I will have to Google the emoji to figure out what people are trying to indicate to me. But we're just going to toss a lead on this Joker and drag them along. They break eventually. Alright, well that's the end of the storm. Or the rain, rather. But we're going to just go ahead and drag them over to spawn, where we're going to throw them somewhere. Probably just on like the sort of entry initially. I don't think they can drown. I haven't tried it. I mean, you don't want to get too grim, but you don't really test if an animal can drown when you meet it. That's not what one does. But this is, of course, a special case. If you met an animal made out of pure bone, you might be tempted to do all sorts of experiments on it. But here we go. We're not seeing any air bubbles. Not totally surprising. And I've seen, of course, a zombie in a pen with it, so they're relatively safe from enemies. And, of course, very agreeable. They're always nodding along with you. They bow periodically. And I know you're saying that's not what they're doing, but unimportant. What we should do is, so lightning's going to strike in a elevated area. But first we're going to, they never like to walk in if it's too limited. There we go. And now he's going to get out, because of course he's going to get out. No. All right. If we can physically push the skeleton horse inside. All right. I'm the saddest boy in the world. This was going to work. It still is going to work. It's just I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that I understand the way that fences work properly, or leads, but if I put him in an area that he can't follow, then I can crack the lead off and pick it up again, and then I'll make a new pin form. We'll probably clear the very top of that area there. And actually, might as well do that, since I'm just doing an exploration and learning and chatting video. We can do that as night falls and make it a little more advanced. Here you see a single chest. That's, of course, because a creeper blew it up on me. I don't have all the light coverage I should have if I don't want creepers to kill me. This is a little melon patch that we've been building. You spend a lot of time at your spawn if you keep your field of 1,000 cows. How much is it right now? 1,300 cows. My field of 1,300 cows. But the field is lit, and we haven't had any monsters get inside yet. The double wall appears to be holding up. If I come back one day and all the horses, or not the horses, all the cows are gone, I will be very put out. But as it stands, we're just going to come up to the top and clear cut a little bit. I almost never come up in this direction. Of course, with the water access, we tend to go around. That was a ugly hissing sound. We will identify what's going on. All right, zombie child. We take 1 hit, 2 hits. So that was a pretty bad encounter. That would have been enough to get us almost all the way popped if we were on hardcore. I need to work out the timings with them better. Here we go. Regular zombie. So if you have any blocks between you and regular zombies, they're just like way useless at getting around them. They can go over them, but just the little bit of the frame switch that they have to do to make the movement makes it to where you can get a knockdown. It sounds like there's a spider in a tree. All of these cows are ones that escaped. And is it a spider in a tree? Yep, I'm a genius. They were trying to drop out on me, but I was too quick for them. But with my amazing efficiency 5 diamond hoe, in no time we will be getting rid of the plant cover. And I know you're asking, are you gonna do this whole video where all you do is clumsily chop down trees? I mean, maybe. Who cares? But I'm not, though. I'm probably gonna end it here in a second. But this is what it looks like whenever I cut down things when I'm not in like a sort of efficiency mode. When I do spruce trees, you know, I have a specific way. I go up to the top, I cut the leaves on the side, and then like have a sand pillar, which I get at the bottom. I'm very like, you know, practiced at that, but I don't cut down very many oak trees because they are not as formulaic and thus are not as pleasant to develop a strategy for. You know, they take a lot longer to get wood from. With the amount of time that you have to spend moving your mouse around, you could be getting, I mean, 10 times as much wood from a 2x2 spruce tree. But of course, improbably, oak trees drop apples, just like oak trees don't. And so there's a reason for them. I haven't seen apples from any other trees besides the oak and the dark oak tree. So it could be that those are the only ways to acquire apples. I don't think there are apple trees, you know. It wouldn't be sensible if there were. When there are cherry trees, I thought perhaps other fruit trees might be around. But the cherry trees, of course, are cosmetically cherry trees. Oh, thanks. That was a creeper. See, even on hard, it's just a few hearts of damage, and it makes me appreciate like how hardcore. First of all, how I just like am not even picking up any of this stuff as I'm cutting down trees. That's the kind of guy I am. You know, the inventory is the real final boss. But as I was saying, the difficulty on hardcore is so much front loaded. I mean, obviously, if you already had 1,000 emeralds, I think I've said this exact speech before. I might have just said it out loud to a person, or I might have said it on video, but you know, sometimes I repeat myself. It's interesting because at no point in any of these times was I thinking, oh, I'm in like mortal danger. It's like, oh, okay, there's an enemy, and then we're gonna deal with them. And just like the casual confidence that I can feel, it's a bit interesting. Hey, fancy zombie. He has picked up a block and is now attempting to strike me with it. No dice. Zombies are like that sometimes. I haven't seen any in iron, but I have seen them in gold. I have seen skeletons in leather, I think. But, you know, I haven't been playing on hard for very long, so maybe those guys, maybe the zombies with a bunch of fancy stuff just show up on hard, and maybe, you know, they show up on other difficulties too. But I basically wasn't playing through the night, even on easy most of the time. Not out in the world. I was killing guardians, making sea lanterns, meeting expectations. But speaking of expectations, these shovels are getting in the way of me picking up birch logs, which if I was, you know, a more responsible Minecraft player, which I am unlikely to ever become, I would have come up here with an empty inventory, but, you know, this wasn't actually part of the plan at all. The only plan was to bring the skeleton horse back home, which we did, and we're executing the rest of it, you know. Pretty soon this will be the highest point around. And then so the lightning rod didn't appear to be useful for the test. We definitely hit a lightning rod with the skeleton horse on turret, so this next time we're just going to get it in a different one. And I'm going to eventually, I'm going to bring a regular horse to both areas and set up another pen there. See if we can get a horse turned into a skeleton horse by lightning, because I'm not sure if even that interaction is the case. It may have just been a weird glitch, but I'll find out eventually. These zombies running at me as if to say, hey, have you considered that if you picked up the loot, you would have a more fulfilled life? I mean, they're right, but on the same hand, leave me alone. I can't help the way that I was born. I just want to cut down trees and leave them where they lie. That's a terrible thing to do, but, you know, the objective wasn't to collect wood, right? It was to clear a path. When I turned the monsters on, I originally thought I would sort of miss the meditative, peaceful calmness of playing on peaceful, but actually, in truth, they don't influence my my stress levels really at all. It's only hardcore that does. I'm sure it would. I mean, it somewhat does. Obviously, it's not nothing that suddenly there's an Enderman that I have to deal with. But really, I just, you know, I got like 50 or 60 Eyes of Ender now, so if I ever want to learn how to play the game, I'm already set up. And then a classic of lumberjacking, you just build a little sand pillar up to deal with the annoying... Alright, what's going on here? Ah, you know, this occurs to me too. If there aren't skeletons around, you could just, Ah, they were running into the shade to protect themselves. Pretty fun stuff. If you have a really good shovel, you need to sort of back away from sand when you hit it if you don't want to go downward into the surrounding land, because it takes like 0.0 seconds. That's not correct, but like probably less than 0.1 to go through a sand block, I would say. I would need to test it to get a hard and fast number. I hate to use a number that sounds like it could be right, but that is hyperbole. If I'm telling a joke, you know, I want it to be obvious that I'm joking. Sometimes because I know a lot of things that other people may not know, because I am interested in very boring things. I'll say something dumb, like a reference to an internet video, like, oh yes, this president was stymied by his apparent belief in witches, and then someone's like, wait, no, really? And I'm like, no, it's not what went on. It's from the Professor Brothers. But oh, well, that was dumb. But it should be okay. So what you can do is listen to the pleasant clicky sound of picking stuff up. You know, they really nailed it with that sound effect. Just everything about it says this is the good thing that's happening. You're just acquiring stuff. Click, click, click. They did their work right. But when there's not wood blocks around the leaves, they eventually just like crack down on their own accord. So whenever I'm cutting like a large area, I usually do this. You definitely have to always deal with the last wood block. One wood block will keep them suspended in the air. But right here, we're almost clear enough to build. And it occurs to me that a person that cared about Minecraft would have just built a table and thrown down a friggin' chest like some time ago to pick all the stuff up, or just walked down the hill to my spawn area. Inventory management and I are not friends. We we don't go to the same social clubs, and don't need to get into the grievance of it right now, but inventory management knows what it did wrong, and when inventory management wants to apologize to me, I'll be right here. I'll be right here waiting, but that that is unlikely to be today. But finally, with enough room in the inventory to pick up the wood that we're mining, back to work. Zug zug. And this is why I don't stream Minecraft, because it would be just so much of this. This is what I do with my time. That's not why I don't stream. I'm not good with people. I struggle very, very much with people. If I have plenty of time, I can often behave well, but if I do not have plenty of time, I often get rude or stressed out, and that is not what I want to do. I want to act like I am a cool and well-adjusted person. I want to make people smile and happy and not wonder like why they're even dealing with me again, like everyone in my real life has to think. But that's not entirely accurate. Most people know that they're dealing with me because they work with me. I spend most of my time here hanging out waiting for thunderstorms, which that's really what I'm doing now, is waiting for a thunderstorm. I love them in real life. As I was just saying in an earlier video uh, about waiting for thunderstorms, we get them fairly frequently where I live, and they are a natural occurrence that I am incredibly fond of. I love a good storm as long as the power stays on, nobody gets hurt and nothing gets destroyed, all of that. Nothing gets flooded, blah blah blah. As long as the storm isn't a disaster, it's still it's nice. I like to sit out on the porch and listen to it all fall down and know that I don't have to go out into it. Know that whatever zombie horses are around, they're going to be fine without me. They're not going to need my help in the storm. But that, unfortunately, isn't true. The zombie horses do need me. They have to have me. Without me, the zombie horse would never have existed. I know you're saying that's not true. I've probably seen one before. Well, I haven't. I needed to be there for mine. Anyway, I'm getting weird and rambly, which means I've probably been talking for too long in a row. But yeah, this is what it's like when I play Minecraft. Just going through like a buzzsaw. It's so much nicer having good tools than the garbage stone that I spent so long with. It'd be kind of hard to go back. That's another fun thing about hardcore is you either play cagey or you get to start with wood again. But I don't even need to be clearing this area. I was just doing it anyway. Great. But it's actually nice because I could, build something here, ultimately. Now we've got a little bit more visibility. We can see our cherry groves in the distance. We can see, everything. There's a mountain over there that I don't think I've ever been to. And, well, great success. And I think after this, yeah, we'll just grab the horse and throw him up there. We'll just build a little fence for him. And, I could have built the fence before I grabbed the horse. That would have been practical. I think it's going to be okay. I think we're going to get away with bad decision making in this regard. Ah, no, not that. Okay. Third person view, not fifth person view. The fifth person view is when you're looking at someone looking at you, looking at them. They're watching you watch them watch me right now, like the Modest Mouse song says. And this lead's pretty annoying. Maybe it was just the previous one that snapped. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm getting too much distance and making bad movement choices. So, okay, there we go. It's like, finally, I've cleared enough land to build a pen for the horse, and then, like, I get stuck 18 times trying to build a pen for the horse. Oh, that's annoying. So anyway, as we've clearly demonstrated, I don't actually know how to build these, but I also don't know how leads work. And none of that matters because we're going to be able to get the horse inside anyway. It's just going to take a little bit of trial, a little bit of errors. No, go back in. Oh my goodness, I am the most annoying person in the world. I need to figure out how leads work before I make another video where I try to use them. Because first of all, the fence is annoying to get creatures into. Okay, that's how they work. You right-click the lead itself. That means I am going to make this a slightly bigger fence so that I can get the horse all the way in. Get the lead. Remember that I need space in order to get him inside. Pull him in. There. Okay, so you right-click looking at the lead, and that's how to break the lead. And, you know, this all could have been avoided by me being a smarter person. But we've got an entrance there. We're going to cut this little paddock in half. He'll have that one, and we'll put a living horse in the other side. And, you know, we don't actually need a gate on them now that they're in there. And that'll be the place for the skeleton experiment if we happen to get a thunderstorm while we're here at home. But there we go. That's what it looks like if I try to build a simple box in Minecraft. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you've enjoyed. I don't think I even have a bed at this house. Yeah, because I broke it to take it to the top of the mountain because I didn't have wool around. So that's pretty hilarious. I wanted to lay down for the night, and I can't. But a careful look into memory just, said, hey, aren't you a person who keeps a lot of things in chests? Why don't you look for one of those things? This is a cobblestone wall, and I left it somewhere else. All right. It absolutely doesn't matter, but I don't want to leave that broken overnight, or I'm unlikely to ever fix it. But we'll put a nice gray bed down. Nothing long with some gray bed sheets. I've used them before. I got gray sheets now, actually. Black's great. Gray's a good color too. Sometimes you want to mix it up and have like a dark gray or a light black. All of those wonderful choices. But that'll do it for this one. This painting's a little abstract, but it's the one that's been on the House of the Spawn for many moons now, and will keep on going on. So, well, I hope you've enjoyed this episode where I built a pen and cut down trees and once again failed to get a fancy horse.